It's an interesting question, and there are, of course, many layers to that. You can be in chastity for a scene, or you could be in chastity for weeks. And I have heard of some people who've been in chastity for months or perhaps even longer. I think ultimately it comes down to the form of chastity equipment that you are wearing. Say if we were wearing medieval chastity equipment with lots of spikes and metals and locks, I don't think you could wear that like long-term comfortably. And ultimately it's about keeping the skin of the penis or the vagina, if you're using a vaginal lock, to keep that nice and safe and supple. Now, I've got two chastity devices here, and these are both from CB, which is cock blockers. Pretty sure that's the brand. Now, there's one here that's quite solid, as you can see here, but important to note is that it has a little seam right along the top there. That seam can sometimes catch on the skin. So for a device like this that could potentially have some points of irritation, I would use these as a scene chastity device, something that you might use for a couple of hours that's part of a scene. Let's compare that to this device here, which is very open. It's a lot more roomy and it really has space in there. For uncut guys, I always recommend get this chastity device because it really lets air get in underneath the foreskin and avoid it getting too moist and potentially problematic. The other good thing about this device is that you can get in there and you can actually clean the skin underneath there much easier under the shower compared to something that's quite solid. So I suppose the question is, how long can you be in it? I probably would not wear a device for longer than a week, and then it's important to give your to give yourself a reward to take the device off, get into the shower and give the area a really good clean. If you're noticing any irritation in the skin, if you're seeing any redness, any pain, or if you've got a foreskin and you're seeing swelling of the foreskin, pain or discharge of the foreskin, take the chastity device off. Other things to think about, just added bonus stuff, is that there are some brands of chastity devices that are easier to wear than others, and that's because they're made of a softer plastic, and some are even made with a plastic that forms to the body as it warms. These are much less likely to catch, much less likely to cause irritation to the body. Finally, one other thing is chastity doesn't necessarily have to be in a device. Chastity can be in your mind. Chastity could be a piece of string around your finger. There's lots of different ways to do chastity, and it doesn't necessarily have to be some sort of barrier that stops you from being able to have sex. One caveat that I'm going to put onto any chastity device is to make sure that you've got good blood flow into the penis. If you're noticing that the penis is swelling, becoming a bit purplish like an overly tight cock ring, then it's really important. This is not a device you can wear a long period of time. Take it off, get one that fits a lot better. It should be snug enough that it doesn't fall off. However, it should not be so snug that the blood supply to the penis is restricted in any way. Surprisingly, I hear this question quite a lot. So let's talk about the penis and its actual design. So you've got inflatable chambers that make for the erection of the penis, and that actual inflation chamber goes all the way deep into the pelvis. On top of the penis is a ligament called the suspensory ligament, and what its job is to keep the penis in a sort of vertical position when it's erect. So if you've got a really short chastity device like this, it's inevitable, no matter what you do, in the middle of the night, you can get erections. And this is where people worry, will I lose my ability to erection? Will my penis get smaller? Your penis won't get smaller. However, when you get an erection and there's nowhere for the erection to go, it can only go backwards. And what that does is it can stretch the suspensory ligament, and it might mean that your penis sits further back inside the body. If you've ever watched a weight loss show where you've seen a guy who's been big and heavy, they can have quite a big fat pad right above their penis, and it makes the penis look smaller. That's because there's more flesh around it. But when they lose weight, suddenly their penis looks bigger because that fat pad has gotten smaller. Long-term chastity device wearing is not necessarily about changing the shape, volume, or ability of your penis to get an erection. It might change the way that the ligaments hold the penis in place, and that could make the penis look smaller. But ultimately, wearing chastity for a long period of time, you might get slightly less frequent erections, but you'll still be able to get an erection, and when the device comes off, your penis will still be able to get up to its original size.